Welcome to the Inspiration Cafe. I'm joined by Lauren Lucas, Event Project Manager, Conference Services for the International Society for Technology and Education. Did I get it all right?
You did, you got it out.
That was a mouthful,
It
thank
is.
you. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Good to be here.
We are so dependent upon voice of the planner because we talk around you a lot, so it's a pleasure to have one, actually a living planner with us. And I guess I'd ask you, just to kind of get us started at the 30,000 foot level, what's happening with your industry? What are some of the trends from the planning perspective?
Mobile everything. I deal a lot on the AV side with our presenters and with our attendees, and it is all about the mobile devices right now. We have a technology conference, and the attendees come with 4 devices, and so being able to keep up with enough bandwidth for them and making everything run smoothly is kind of our top priority right now.
So they have iPad, iPhone.
Last year we had people who had iPad 2, a laptop, and a phone.
Wow.
And they were on them all at once.
There's barely room at the table to put
It
all
was
these.
ridiculous.
And you know, from a hotelier's perspective, it's awfully hard to predict, as it must be from your perspective, about bandwidth.
It's very hard. Getting the hotels to believe and the convention centers to believe how much we're going to need and how robust of a system that we're going to need. Usually we actually build our own networks in the convention center because we have such high usage.
I don't even know how that happens, how you build a network, but is that hardware and you have your own team that comes in?
We do. We have a networking team that comes in and then works with PSAV and makes it so that we don't go down Monday morning when the sessions start.
It seems to me, an extra burden on the presenter in 2 ways. I was reading a study that says it's not about multitasking, it's actually about switch tasking, that people who are operating an iPhone, listening to a presenter on their iPad are actually not using that portion of the brain that's long-term memory. So how do you cut? It must be hard for a presenter because he or she has to cut through all that.
They do. A lot of our presenters have handouts. We have a conferencing, and so there's a lot of interaction both before and after the conference where you can get handouts, you can talk to your presenter and ask questions that you might have missed. And I was in a session yesterday and I had my laptop open and I was listening and taking notes at the same time, and that's helpful for me as an attendee. Right. I can go back and check my notes and then share what I've learned.
So how do you prepare presenters or speakers, or do they come prepared to understand this?
Most of ours come prepared. We've got such a technologically savvy group that they know that they're not going to be able to hold your attention the whole time. And so, like I said, the Ning, we have Facebook pages, everyone's on Twitter, and so it's pretty easy to get what you need.
Sooner or later, the message comes together with the meeting and the logistics.
It definitely does.
Because the reason I asked is because the presenters rather, have to be in a position to understand what. I've read a statistic that said the average attention span of an adult is 20 minutes and the average meeting is 60 minutes. So there's a 40-minute issue in there. How do you make a 60-minute meeting around a 20-minute span?
They have to be engaging. And I think my association is lucky. We have about a 19% acceptance rate. And so we really get the cream of the crop, and they know that their audience needs to have the presentation mixed up. We have all sorts of different learning environments as well. We have the casual lounges and playgrounds where they can come and play on the electronic whiteboards. They can, we have IVC, the video conferencing lounges where they can come in and check that out and see how they can use it in their schools. Lots of different session types.
Plenty of ways to keep people occupied. And to that point, and on a totally different subject, I know hoteliers would love to have you have your whole meeting stay on site. You, on the other hand, have the burden of saying, yeah, but I got to keep people interested. Are you able to increasingly keep people on one location?
For our annual meeting, we're a citywide. and we have about 20,000, close to 20,000 attendees.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so we really take over the convention center, and we try to keep it all in the center, but a lot of our sort of peripheral events that have to do with some of our sponsors or the exhibitors are at the surrounding hotels, the headquarter hotels. But we try to keep everything right there in the center. So
Yeah, I mean, you're too big for a property.
are.
You're many properties.
We are.
And I'm thinking as you construct your meeting, there's the convention bureau, there's the AV provider, the association and the hotel. Are you able ever to get all those people together on the same page?
Oh, we do, actually. We have, just in the last few years, we do all of our site visits and have meetings then. But we've discovered for our annual meeting, if we have a task force that goes around and it has myself, a decorator, our AV team, it has people from the center, and we walk the building once a day and take a look at what it is that we need done. And that it is so helpful for the 12 days that we're there to be able to, at the end of the day, say, this is what needs to be done, this can be checked off, and here's where we're going tomorrow. And that's, it takes the whole team.
And site selection, has that changed over the years? It's still basically what you would have done some time ago? Because I know it's important.
We are booked up. Our sites, we're getting on a rotation now. And so we have our main cities that we go back to, and then we have a wild card. But we're actually booked through, I think, 2022. And, there's only a certain few convention centers that can really hold us.
Right, that's
and
meeting
so,
your size.
And so we have to kind of circle back through the same cities: Philadelphia, LA, San Antonio, Atlanta.
And as I listen to you talk, it becomes clear that the event is just a continuum, that the event there's a pre-event, an event, and a post-event.
There is. And that's how we want it. We want to keep our members engaged all year long. We want them to be checking the ISTE page throughout the year, not just to register for the conference and check up and see what sessions they want. We want them going in there in November and what's going on with ISTE. Are there webinars that I can take? Or is there a new book out that I can get for my staff? Is there something new that I have to know about that ISTE can help me with? We have our national standards, and a lot of our members come in and are checking those out. And so, yeah, we really want the year-round engagement.
And we've talked about everybody but members. You just mentioned it, but are they defining value, do you think, in different ways? I mean, value of belonging to your association, or I mean, it used to be, I guess I'll pay my dues, and then I have to pay money to go to the meetings, but now you're talking about all the other communication they get. Doesn't that add value?
It does. I think different members find it in different ways. I'm not great at sitting at a desk and listening to a webinar. I'd rather be able to interact with people, and but some people want to get their information, they want to listen to it and be done with it, and so the webinars are great for them. The books are another way. Some people prefer those, and now we have digital books that you can get for your Kindle, for your iPad, for whatever method you need. And so there's so many different ways in our organization to be a member and to be active and feel like you've really gotten your money's worth.
So part of value may be having a choice of what I want
think
and
so.
when I want it. Customization to some degree. What about metrics? Are you guys big on metrics?
Our volunteer numbers are one that we keep an eye on. It takes about 1,000 volunteers each year to help us with our conference, helping with bag stuffing, helping with Ask Me booths and that sort of thing. And so that's another way.
Do you think, and we'll kind of start to wrap up, I guess, that from a planner's perspective, if you and I had the same discussion 3 years from now, what would be different, or 5 years? That you would in fact have evolved to more strategic activities, or stay in logistics? Do you think?
I love the logistics. I love the fine details that goes into it, but I would love to be more a part of the strategy. in the overall event.
Right.
And you know, working with my AV team and with the decorators and the different teams, it's just the best part of my job, I think. So
To that point, and that'll be my last question then.
Okay.
So assume, Lauren, we have the whole audience of planners out there, of AV providers out there, and you said, I'm going to give these people a really important piece of advice here, so what would you tell them? The good, the bad, the other, what ideas, what advice?
keep me informed. I want to know what you know in terms of the hottest technology, if it's a new app, if it's software. Tell me about it. I may know about it already, but I want to hear it from you, and be mindful of my budget. And that's one of the best parts of PSAV for me is that they work hand in hand with me. So
It's a partnership in that
it
sense.
is. It most
And
definitely is.
Assume we had an audience of hoteliers and you were sending out advice to them, because you have to deal with them too.
Yes.
There's some good things and some frustrating things. What would you tell them?
Believe me when I tell you something, like this is how much bandwidth we're going to need. Don't argue with me.
I'm not making it up. It's
I'm
real.
not pulling these numbers from the sky.
Right.
That's a big one for me.
Great.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate talking to you. Well, that's it. We've been talking to Lauren Lucas, Event Project Manager, Conference Services with the International Society for Technology and Education. There are a number of tutorials on the Inspiration Cafe. We hope you visit all of them, but certainly visit this one and learn more about the business from the planner standpoint. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.